So, we are here eagerly to explain to you a few of the basic concepts that we find involved with any kind of occupation, any kind of work that takes longer time for an individual to be involved in, which means that it takes out a larger part of your day pretty often. So the more you feel like you have something like that in your life, the more we are speaking to you, which means a 3 or 4 hour period each day could be called a larger trunk or clump of your day. And that is the minimum of what we are explaining or talking to here. Is is there anything that you could not help yourself to do if you were not told otherwise? What we are really trying to say is there something that you like to do so much that you are constantly not allowing yourself the freedom to express that you would really like to, that there would be a strong urge within you to do? Is there something that you really want to be working with for this period of time that would be meaningful, that would be helpful to you or others? Is there something that seems so important, so all consuming if you went into it that it would take your time and days? There would be some degree of this for each person, not a singular task, but a sort of mission, a sort of idea of what direction you like to be, even if that idea means going general. We have to start in this basic place, for it is where most people are stuck or feel frustrated. For how can we know what work would be more appropriate for me? And if they feel that whatever work they are involved with is unimportant, is not satisfactory to them, or is not their right work, then they have problems, then they have issues. And it will not be hard for them to figure out something that would be meaningful. You see, if you try to go for that, many people are like, well, if I did the thing that would be meaningful, I wouldn't instantly feel satisfied. I wouldn't instantly be gratified in my desires. I wouldn't be a success overnight. And we're here to say that that could be less important, for you are much more willing to go into challenges, as Mikkel here has discovered in his own life, that if you are feeling something is sufficiently important, often people are willing to take the challenges along the way. And so the meaningfulness to you could be compared to how much are you willing to go through in order to achieve a sort of success in this area. How dedicated are you? How committed are you? Now, we're not saying this for the purpose of giving you the impression that there's something that needs to be endured in order to work well. In order to be satisfied in work, you need to struggle. However, often people find themselves in situations where they feel they have to work, and the work that they are doing are not satisfactory to them, and yet they feel obligated to do it in order out of financial concern for the family and for themselves. And so in that situation, you will, if you work and not really doing what you love, but you work, then you'll be less willing to do it just for the money. There is not enough energy in the money in order to keep you satisfied, in order to keep you motivated throughout your day, to keep you inspired. If you go for something that seems way more meaningful to you, it might still be that there will be challenges and you're going to be heartbroken at times or feel that it's hard because of the patterns you yourself has created. If you are a long-term student of self-help, you know this. However, we would like to point out that if you are enabling yourself to go into this with an attitude that this is important and that it is whatever it takes, it is worth to do it. That you are in this until you succeed, that you have a sort of willingness to go into whatever occupation you're into. Not necessarily that you're willing to do things past a certain limit. Many people has a limit and saying, I'll go here and no further. And we can see the point of that wall, so to speak, for it is your decision of how much pain, how much resistance you're willing to endure. And anything past that point, you just struggle and deal with it in whatever way you can, but mostly you become inactive and you don't really do anything. However, this wall is moving as you feel that it is more important what you're doing. You are more willing to just hang in there for a little bit. And so it is not that you should go past your wall, but if you can move your wall, which actually means that even though there's still the same amount of resistance, the same content within whatever you're doing, there is a natural releasing tendency built in within the idea that there is something meaningful and worth discovering and worth venturing into in this area. It is a fruitful field that I allow myself to move myself into. So you still don't want to punish yourself or do something that is harder than you want to. You do not want to pass the wall necessarily. However, you might feel that it is worth going up to the limit of the wall if you can see that as a potentially creative, important thing. So if you can allow yourself to find the meaningfulness in wherever you are and the level of participation you are capable of at this point, then you will feel a sort of urge to do more. You see, then it will propel and expand as you feel that whatever you are capable of right now in this area that seems meaningful to you, the more you'll be willing to go further and further into this field, and for you see it as an avenue through which more blessings, more nice things can come into your life. And so the more you enable yourself to be involved in this type of activities, this type of relationship with your work, the more you're gonna be drawn to it because you are naturally motivated to go toward the things that seem important and fruitful. Now, if you are thinking, this area seems fruitful, but you are not allowing yourself to ever encounter any kind of resistance, you might end up stopping yourself. And so you gotta realize that in any occupation where you really dedicate yourself to, you're gonna feel the resistance now, but you will also release it through the practice of being involved with this activity or processes in relation to it. However, you will not so willingly go out of the occupation, for it has deep meaning to you. That is the difference. That is why you will stay within this occupation with a feeling or a sense of purpose. And that in and of itself helps you resolve your issues around the work. And so if you find it meaningful, you will have the opportunity, if you are smart, if you are willing and open, to say, I know that there are solutions to challenges, troubles, problems. I know that there are solutions. There are the other side of the coin as well, and I'm open to find it. And I know that many deep answers lie within this occupation. If this occupation holds the problems, it holds the solutions. And so really what this means is this importance, this meaningfulness is really that you have decided or discovered that there's something, a field of the solutions in this area that you find particularly attractive, so attractive indeed that they become more real to you, that you actually realize their realness and you are willing to go through the work to sort of mine these ideas, these things out. Now, that will make your work more satisfying. It will, in and of itself, help you create something more likable. Now, if you are not right now involved in the type of work that we're describing, you don't feel the meaningfulness, you can begin to rediscover why you took the work in the first place. Now, if you only took it for the money, just realize that there's something here that someone at some point felt some sort of meaning toward. No one ever creates a shop or a business without any sort of meaningfulness. And know that you can tune into this and you can sort of ride on their backs. But it means that you got to be willing to do this. You got to be willing to say, okay, even though I might dislike the way things work here, I dislike so many things here, or the values here, or whatever it is, there is something here that is worthy of my time, for another has found it, and follow them in that direction. So if you can feel the presence of someone who actually finds some meaningfulness about whatever they're doing, wherever they're doing, just allow yourself to be mentored through their energy in this direction. Now, don't let them teach you the resistance. Don't let them teach you the limiting views that often holds that work is hard as supposed to be. Why? Ask yourself, why are these people so willing to endure what seems to be hard work if you feel like they are? Ask yourself, what is this meaningfulness, this bonus that they feel beyond the ego satisfaction? What is it that seems meaningful, since they have some share of the meaningfulness of this company, of this place of work, line of work, of this organization? That is an excellent question. Now, if you let yourself tune down this road, you will find yourself involved in many activities that might be very different very soon, for you will have changed the perspective, your progression in this direction, and you might find that your part of your meaningfulness lied within this company, because often you are in a company or in a place that you don't think you want to be, actually based on you have attracted it, created it out of a sense of meaningfulness, even though you were not at a conscious level aware of it. And so the more you allow yourself to see this, the more you're actually gonna find the part of this company that is meaningful. And often it will mean getting involved with different activities, getting involved with different people or in different ways, or simply feeling a lighter feeling a progression and not a deadbeat. Not something that is dead, but something that is active and evolving and moving. You see, that is the basis of all organization. As we talked about finding this meaningfulness, that is the part that is in all organizations. It is evolving, it is thriving to move forward. Even if those who are in charge have forgotten, they must still have had that feeling at some point. And so it is still dormant within them, and you can see traces of it in their behavior, in their energy, even if it is a sinking ship, so to speak. And so if you don't feel you can find anything there at all, if it's too difficult, find the founder spirit, look in your history books about it, or get someone to tell you, how was this firm first started, who did it, and feel the spirit of that, and let that be your guidebook toward this company. And then add this, that you are adding to the spirit of it by being involved with it. You see, this is where it becomes durable to you see, because you are enabling to allow your spirit to be something that is affecting the company. Don't ask if they take your suggestions or not. That is a sign of how it's going, but it is not an ultimate sign. Instead, look at if you are involved, if you have taken our advice and have been involved with a company and find the meaningfulness in this company for a month and giving it whatever you feel like you have to offer the company, whatever you feel like you're willing to before you breathe the wall, okay? And you give it that, what you got, and then you sort of feel the progression within yourself. Then realize that you are adding something to this company, to the spirit, that it is not a dead thing. And as you do this, you're gonna look everywhere in the company to find where the change is taking place. And you might ask yourself, you might go inside, if something that seems a little bit different, it might be a new closet, it might be a new way of delivering, a new delivery system, or a new head chef, and say there's something here that is off or that is different. And you might realize that this something has been created mainly out of your willingness to participate within the company, for you have, by doing this, brought out some of your desires and included it in the vision of the company. And as you have men like that, men like you in your company, then you're going to find some of your bosses, if you're not a boss yourself, being highly cooperative to the desires and ideas that you have. Even if they will not take it directly from you, they will pick up the energy and they will begin to act toward it. That is what happens in most cases. If not, you will just find, if they are totally dead, if they don't really want to create anything, you will find yourself either drawn to another company, or you're gonna find that you will in actuality have a greater power than the bosses, even though they will have the final word in decision making. Then the development of the company is coming from you. And there are actually people living in some of the larger organizations today who are more responsible for the company's success, that are working on the floor, that is working as a manager in the management level, that is way more responsible for the spirit and the general direction the company is taking, and that is creating huge change, huge income for that company and for the world. And now, if you want to take this further, if you're in management or in leadership, you might want to take this to the next level, where you say, what companies do this company want to play with, and find their meaningfulness. And so you will begin to find the meaningfulness in companies and see how you can sort of feel some of that energy, let it in, because it will naturally be drawn to this company that you are working in. Then you'll take the best of that, let it in. You'll find the meaningfulness behind people. Some people that you don't like, you're gonna see, why is he meaningful? Why is she meaningful? Why are they born? What are they trying to express? However badly or well they are doing it, they are still expressing some of it in some degree. And as you find that, you're gonna find meaningfulness in yourself, in others, in your company, and in your work. Now, obviously, if you are self-employed, all of this goes as well. You're gonna find the meaningfulness behind your company, and it was just founded basically by you, but you might often realize or discover that there was a source that sort of inspired you to create this, that you might be a part of an energetic constellation of companies, and you are wanting to take your place, and you might realize, oh, it's because I see this space that needs filling in this great construction of companies, of ideas, of a movement going through the society. And it might be, in rare cases, that you are a precursor in a certain direction, but you will have a determiner of direction, a new creator of a new system organization. And even here, it will be built upon previous ideas. So find the meaningfulness, find the brotherhood, the connection with other companies. You want to acknowledge that you are special, that you are adding something no one else could, and yet you are part of this organization, even as you work alone. And it will give you a sense of purposefulness that will be beyond what you feel when you are sitting alone, just trying to make something happen where it feels like nothing happens. You'll feel like you're standing on the shoulder of giants, and you'll feel that you are receiving some of the energy of the giants, and that they do not mind the slightest you standing there. They are trying to lift you up. They are supporting you. And they say, yes, this is why I built my company, so you could build your company that is even greater. And so feel this meaningfulness from this cooperation, from this continuous development, evolvement of everything. And you'll feel that there's something worth standing up for in the morning. Now, don't assume that just because you find meaningfulness, that it is the only one for you. You often have many meanings individually that you can find. But it doesn't matter if you have all the meaning. There will always be more meaningfulness to be found, to be uncovered in the treasury of your mind, of your life, of your soul. So just allow yourself to go into this with an open mind, that there is some meaning to be mined, to be found, to be uncovered by you. And as you do this, you're going to find it to be an adventure, to be a discovery, to be something that is way more fun than you have discovered before. And the same go with studies. As you are part of one who studies something, which you also are, hopefully, as you are having a job, having a work, as you are finding this meaningfulness, you are going into the flow of improvement, of creation, of value-adding activities and entities. And so in the standards of study, you also add onto the value of some knowledge that also is connected with the companies, but sort of the knowledge-built studies or organization are going across many of the organizations that are producing, which means they are affected by the different organizations that is there, and at the same time they affect the organization. So feel the purposefulness of learning this, because it puts you in tune with knowledge and ideas and develop it in your own way, but feel that you are connected with all this that is actually out there in the world where things are produced, that things are usually not separated unless people so dislike the world around them that they, to some degree or another, allows the knowledge that they harbor to be separated from the companies, even in an energetic level, so that it will be less available, less likely that people will tune into your knowledge in this level. It might be someone who is not physical who does it, but you will not be inviting it. It will not seem tempting for them at an unconscious level to do so. And you'll be more deprived of that. While when you feel connected to that, when you feel the cooperation between you, between the knowledge seeker and the learners and the learned that gathers new information and the companies, it becomes way more clear the importance and the practicality of knowledge, even if you do not yourself give it a practical form, for you will have been part of the entity that sort of made other things happen, that sort of were picked up by other people that were part of this entity network. Feel this cooperation. It is one of the keys to feeling meaningfulness, feeling the work is important and worth getting up in the morning for. And it will help you to ensure that you give whatever energy you have gotten, you put into something that you find meaningful. As you do this, then your energy reserve will be growing. You will have an ever increasing amount of energy available to yourself in your life. And that seems like such a fantastic idea that we cannot emphasize it enough. Only when you cut the wires, don't feel connected, don't feel the value, don't feel the meaning, then you actually often don't use it, though you feel so tired way before you hit your wall. Or you could say that you don't feel the meaningfulness, so your wall moves. And once there's just the least bit of resistance, you are unwilling to look further. You look away instead of looking into how can we change this? How can we create this in a more meaningful way? So realize that there are diamonds where you are and you can find them. And furthermore, that if you want to change occupation, if you want to change field, a field that is clearly more valuable to you, you will be able to work in that direction by finding the meaningfulness there and by finding it where you are, for it will give you the energy to propel you in the new direction. If you have made the decision, the intention, I want to go into that field by using this as my core, as my catalyst to get there, then you're going to find new meaningfulness plus the meaning that you already have where you are, to then propel you into this new area where you say, there's even bigger diamonds for me. And your energy, your intention will know and guide you in that direction through your present situation. And that is so different. That makes it sort of a cooperative universe, a cooperative place that you are, however big or small it is. Now, does that seem to help you? Does that seem to improve your attitude? We'd like to add that if you have serious problems about if you're capable of doing it, if you feel socially afraid, then watch the videos about those things in particular, for it is completely a different topic. About the confidence about your job in particular. We will add, by the way, that the more comfortable you feel about your work and the meaningful you feel there and the natural skills that will develop through it, the more you're going to feel naturally drawn to the people who has the same kind of ability and talents and vision for your field. And so you will develop some sort of social skill through this, because there will be people who can understand you, that you can easily talk to. And it is actually the beginning places for much love and trust and honor on this planet, because they feel like they've found a kindred soul, one who understands them, one who speaks the same language. Even if they don't sleep together, they might just feel great respect, great honor. And that is worth taking. And so just take this energy and put it into when you meet with other people, as many people naturally are doing, but you might consciously say, all right, I'm very comfortable here and I can talk to these people about these things. Now feel this comfortability, this confidence, and use it to create more confidence around people. Now that was one way of doing it. We will later go into confidence around people in general in another video. Now, if you want this confidence around your abilities about this, go into the occupation with a meaningfulness and you will begin to draw it out. For it actually means that you acknowledge you are opening yourself up to the field of diamonds, to the field that something is really important here. And you are tuning yourself to this network. You will begin to learn from others who are also here, who also sees the value. You see, that is, as Miguel has realized for some time now, that is what draws people together. So if you find something beautiful and meaningful in a field, then those who find the same beautiful and meaningful thing in this field will actually be drawn to you, which are usually people who are very skilled in your field. And if you furthermore are willing to say, as I learn this, I'll find even more meaning, I'll deepen my understanding and appreciation of this work, as you let that be your motivation for learning these skills, you will find deeper satisfaction, deeper understanding, and great mentors, great people who, well, you can model in some way. And as we talked about, let them, even as they have other character traits that you do not desire. You are hooked into that part of them that appreciates this particularly part of the world, which is your craft, your business, whatever it is, even if it's a diverse business with many different things in it, you're going to realize that it has a specific energy to it and a specific meaningfulness that feels just a little. It might sound the same as many other purpose statements and values that you find corporation just tossing out, but the feeling behind it is quite unique. So go into the feeling tone behind the meaning and tune into that and feel the meaning others have felt to help you find it. And then as you find it, you're going to find yourself willing to follow them in this direction, that they can learn, teach you something here. And they will be most likely to want to, for they will sense that you are a kindred spirit. They will feel their competence is growing and their willingness to be at one with you is growing. So it can only help you to do this. It can only increase your sense of self-worth, of confidence. There's no one way to learn. You might not like the particular way things is being passed on in a particular place. And then you might want to move to another place. You see, that is the basic place or the basic reason we would use to change. If the way of teaching is not one that fits you, then we would often, or most often, go to another place where they have a different teaching method. However, you want to find the meaningfulness that makes them willing to go through all this resistance. And you might even if you don't like the teaching method, like to learn whatever they have in this place and realize that even if they seem incompetent, that there is something they can teach you. And you can teach them very soon if they are not very competent, as you have this passion, if you have this meaningfulness for your job. For that alone will put you in the 10% of the population who are involved in whatever they are doing in a deeper, meaningful way, so that they actually propels and creates more out in the world, in their own life, in the company, with the people they're around, as they learn more, as they do not just stand still. If there's no meaningfulness, they will lack the progress. So that was our best example of very simple advice that has many different levels of applicability. Now, please take the time to find if there's something that is meaningful to you, and see if you can find it, see if you can feel it, see if you can find models, role models that you can feel, who has sort of recognized on an emotional level this meaningfulness, and go into it. Let yourself live in this way. Let yourself feel grateful every day to just be allowed to be where you are, because you have found this meaningfulness. You see, it gratitude easily follows this kind of meaningfulness, for it assumes that there is something to find. So you can be grateful before, often you can be grateful before you have found it, just because you are able to be here and find it. And that is how people come through military and many other places where the teaching methods is so terrible, because they are willing to bleed for what they feel like is meaningful. They feel like they found some magical meaningfulness. Now, in organizations that are not built on killing people, how much more meaningfulness do you think that you can find there? So this was not anti-military. We find that it has its own purposes and entity, but we would like to say that if you want to find meaningfulness, go towards an occupation that creates, that is helping other people create. So a military based on safekeeping of what is being created, or ease and comfortability and safety of feeling, not of you should be afraid, but we'll keep you safe. But actually wanting to give them this very comfortable, very easy, very safe feeling around you because you are there, then you add to the creativity, to the creation of this world. We want to add that to these few military people who might be listening in. Now, that was our best suggestions to you around finding some sort of meaningfulness around work. They will come more in this direction. As we mentioned, we will have a creating confidence around being social. And that will be later. Have a very good day, and thanks to you for listening.